A more telling case is that of the eminent Swiss theologian Dr. Hans Kung, formerly head of the Department of Theology at the University of Tübingen. Kung was generally acknowledged to be among the most brilliant, most influential, most topically relevant Catholic writers of our age, a man who, following in the footsteps of Pope John XXIII, seemed to offer a new direction for the Church, a new humanity, a new flexibility and adaptability. But Kong was also controversial in his book Infallible, first published in German in 1970 and in English the following year. The challenged the doctrine of papal infallibility, which, one must remember, had never existed in the Church until 1870, and had only been then established by a vote. No one is infallible, Kung wrote, but God himself. Further, the doctrine of infallibility in the Church rests on foundations that cannot be regarded as secure. Kung also recognized the distinction between theology and history, and the former's propensity to parade itself as the latter. He attacked the sophistry of such church scholars as Cardinal Jean Daniel, who in 1957 had published the Dead Sea Scrolls and Prunitive Christianity, a work primarily of theological propaganda. Theologians such as Daniel now bring an aura of pseudo-learning to the role of Grand Inquisitor, are appointed cardinals of the Holy Roman Church, and fulfills its expectations. After the election of John Paul II, Kung was critical of the new pontiff's rigidity in morals and dogma. Is a Catholic theologian, he asked going to be allowed to ask critical questions. Was John Paul II really free? Kung wondered of the personality cult, which had bedeviled earlier popes, and was he not perhaps excessively preoccupied with doctrine at the expense of the liberating message of Christ? Can the Pope and the Church credibly speak to the conscience of today's people if a self-critical examination of conscience on the part of the Church and its leadership does not also simultaneously occur? Kung's outspokenness made him, of course, an irresistible target for the inquisitional tribunals of the congregation for the doctrine of the faith. Having evaluated his statements, the tribunal accordingly passed judgment on 18th December 1979, the Pope, acting on the formal recommendation of the congregation, stripped Kung of his post and pronounced him no longer qualified to teach Roman Catholic doctrine. He was informed that he was no longer a Catholic theologian and was forbidden to write or publish further. Kung himself effectively summarized what had befallen him. I have been condemned by a pontiff who has rejected with my theology without ever having read one, if of